Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow. That's right. Tom King is back at it. He's taken another one of those classic female characters that he loves to write but can't get right, and he's turning it into a book. So, when was the last time we had a Supergirl ongoing? Was it Mark Andraco? I think 3 years ago, or was there one more recently in Rebirth? I can't remember. But we last saw her in Future State in a really good book that I enjoyed. Now, here she is. She's back for our viewing eyes right when her TV series is about to end. An 8-part miniseries from Tom King. Bilquis Evely is on the artwork, and I'm like, 8 issues? That's a weird number, but I guess he's got 8 issues of this thing. So, it's fine. It's a solid book, but my biggest complaint so far is that it doesn't feel like a Kara Zor-El book. It feels like Tom King needed to get this book made, and I think he was like, I have a book that could easily be like a black label, but we don't want to make it a black label, so instead of using like maybe your creator-owned character that you could put somewhere, we're going to make it Supergirl, because nothing about this book screams it has to be Supergirl, which really sucks to me, because when you're using a character like Kara Zor-El, who has a rich history, a rich characteristic, do something with it. Don't just make a book and throw her in here, which is what it felt like to me, so it's like, hey, they probably needed to fill this gap for a character. We don't have a Supergirl, we'll put Supergirl in this. And the other thing is, it reminded me, I really want a Jonah Hex book to come back, because this is the most Western book that Tom King has ever written, and he's written some pretty good stuff, but this one is just such a mixed bag. So let's get into it. You know, first off, I do want to say Bilquis Evely's art, it's really good. It's actually very fantastic. The colors are fantastic too. Everything about like the aesthetic for this looks really good. Another book from DC that's got some purples and pinks in here. I don't know why this is like the most popular color at the moment, but there hasn't been a book I've read recently that didn't have these colors showing up in some capacity. So if you wanted a Supergirl book, you're probably not going to get it in this. This opens up, we see it from the perspective of this woman named Ruth, and she's an alien person, and she narrates the whole book, which I get it. You're going through that, like, Searchers, True Grit feel, young woman in the Western world, working with, like, you know, your long, tall, dark cowboy type. I get why you do that. If you're doing the Western, play into the tropes, go for it. Why is that a Supergirl thing? I don't know. But this girl, Ruth, her father was killed by a man named Krem. Krem's the evil that is plaguing this town. We have to put a stop to him. He stabs her father with a sword. He leaves the sword inside her, so she takes the sword. She will enact her revenge using the sword. Okay, it's fine, I guess. Like, I'm just like, okay, this is a weird way to open up a Supergirl book, but whatever. We see that this woman's got like 7 older brothers, which, okay, that's fun. She's like, I don't want to be here anymore, so she leaves because she's going to go find Krem to kill him, and yeah, that's great. The mom's like, look, if you're going to go down this path, all I say is be careful. Like, take your father's horse, too, because I don't want to ride that thing. And it's just like a Western in space, where it's like, this didn't need to be in space, so I still think it's like, we need a Supergirl book. Can you turn this thing you made for Black Label, or just an independent pitch, turn it into Supergirl? That's what I really think what happened here, and it's such a weird choice. So, like any Western, we head to a tavern, and this guy's being a dick, and, you know, he's like, because we see that Ruth wants to like hire this guy to track down Krem, but he's like, I'm not going to do that for you. If you're not going to do it unless you pay me. And she's like, well, you can have the sword to kill him with. It's a nice sword. You probably get some money for it. And he's like, girl, you're so silly. He slaps her, and clearly he's just an asshole, but he's probably like the strongest guy in the town, so it doesn't matter. And we see off in the corner that this woman is just kind of like drawing her sword and trying to take his as he walks away. It's like, okay, what's going on here? This woman has a dog with her, like an Earth-looking dog, so we know instantly it's Kara. Not a big deal. But what we realize, and this is a part of the book too, where I'm like, what was the point in doing this type of stuff? I just don't like it for Kara. I don't think she'd ever do this really, so it's her 21st birthday, which means she can legally drink now in Earth years, but who cares? She's in space, it doesn't matter. And she came to a planet with a red sun, so she could feel intoxicated. And basically, this guy's giving her a hard time, so she kicks his ass a little bit. You know, she gets kind of cut from the sword because, of course, it's a red sun and she can't get injured. But she does manage to kind of take down the guy wielding her own sword, and you're like, this is kind of fun, I guess. But she does pass out because, of course, she was drinking heavily and she wakes up hungover. Ruth picked her up like, you're crazy. I don't know who you are, lady, but I like you. Perhaps I could use you to help me with something. And you're like, okay. Weird. Again, it's like, why did this specifically need to be Kara? Because there's nothing about what's going on here that is specifically Kara. And I just think that's a wasted opportunity, because it's just, you have such a unique character with her, and you want to steer her in a direction that's different than Superman. This isn't the way to do it, because you could literally put any spacefaring character in this book. I said Jonah Hex earlier, he's on spacefaring, but this could be Hal Jordan, this could be any of the Green Lanterns, this could be Adam Strange, this could be literally anybody, and it'd feel like the exact same thing. And maybe that's the point of like a Western. Maybe it's like a meta thing where it's like the Western is so like cookie cutter that you could like take any of those old school guys, throw them in the same movie, and it'd feel the same. Maybe that's what's saying here. I don't know. I don't know, Tom King. That could be what he's trying to say here. But we see Ruth wants to hire her, and Kara's like, nah, that's okay. And Kara's about to take off, go back home to her planet because she had fun. She partied on her birthday. She got drunk. She's leaving now. And we get some more narration from the woman. It's like, I probably should have let her go, but I didn't. So the girl jumps in the water to track Kara down, finds her spaceship, and okay. Like, this is just like, I don't know. It's such a weird choice, and there's like 2 pages just dedicated to this woman, like literally saying I shouldn't have went after her, but I did. And you didn't need that much dialogue for this, I don't think. Like, you're not adding anything to it. This character is new to us, so having this from her perspective, I don't think adds anything to the story for going forward. It's just like, okay, that's great to see. So again, Ruth asks Kara, Zor-El, I ask you to take down Krem for me, kill him with the blade that he used to kill my father, and a bunch of great stuff. Kara's like, oh, I guess I will. Kara is swearing like throughout the book a lot, which kind of makes me go, really? Did you need to do this? I feel like you wanted to make her distinct from writing Catwoman, but you didn't do that good a job, because Tom King has trouble writing women sometimes, don't get me wrong, but this is just so inherently trying to say the things the Catwoman wouldn't say, but it comes across as what Catwoman would say. So instantly in that situation, Kara gets hit with an arrow. We realize that it's Krem who shot her. And that he shoots the dog too, which you never shoot the dog. That's how bad things happen. But, you know, Kara and Crypto, they're still kind of doing okay in this situation. They're not dead or anything, but they're not as strong as they used to be. So Kara's coming in to try to attack Krem and the guy that they saw at the bar. Not really working. She cuts her hands on the blade, and it looks really good. Like, the artwork is very clean and crisp. The style reminds me kind of like She-Ra a little bit, but kind of also like Mobius, which is kind of a cool thing to see. It looks very unique, and I enjoy that. So she kind of kicks down the one guy. He's done, but we see Krem like kick down Ruth, take down Kara, and escapes onto her ship. And we end the book with Krem blasting off into space. And now we're gonna do like a horse riding thing to chase him down and see where he's going. Cool. It's kind of fun, I guess, but that's just like an easy kind of ending there. It's just a classic Western. It's like hiring the bounty hunter to go kill the man that killed your papa. I don't know. It's not Supergirl to me, and I think there's really more behind the scenes as to why this exists, because it doesn't seem like something Tom King would just like create for Kara. I don't know. But it's just, it didn't do enough to make me really think this was fun or interesting. It's just like, here's your Western in space. Does it need to be in space? No, it's just a Western. It could literally be any characters thrown into here, and that is kind of boring. And there's so much like dialogue and writing in here, and people just talking silly. I get it, you're making a space thing, it's fine. But it just could have been so much more, and just so much more interesting if Kara acted kind of like herself and did just like get drunk because it's her birthday and keep swearing because she's pissed off at the world for some reason. I don't like that, and I don't think people are going to respond to this as well as they might. You'll respond to the artwork because it is beautiful. Some of the other stuff in the book, you're like, it's fine. Maybe I'm just from a generation where the Western doesn't speak to us as much, but it just doesn't have any staying factor to me, and that kind of sucks to see, because I genuinely like Tom King's writing. This one just doesn't stick the landing. So, Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow, I am going to give a 5 out of 10. Now, thank you guys for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, Patreon, Twitter, all that good stuff, and I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.